Jai Hind to all. I, Chelsi Sen, Assistant Professor in IT Department, AKGEC, Ghaziabad. Today we will discuss about the Internet infrastructure. Internet infrastructure, in which we are going to discuss about the various frameworks and the architecture which are involved in the Internet system. So what is Internet infrastructure? In that we are discussing about the various transmission are involved over the Internet. Means whatever software and the hardware involved in the Internet infrastructure. So we are going to discuss about the architecture and the various protocols involved in the Internet system. So first of all, just discuss what are the various elements of the Internet infrastructure. These are the various elements. First one is TCP/IP, second one is DNS, and third one is BGP. TCP/IP is Transmission Control Protocol and the IP is Internet Protocol. Next one is DNS, that is Domain Name Server. Next is BGP, that is Border Gateway Protocol. So these are the various points or various elements which are involved under the BGP, involved in the Internet infrastructure. Just discuss about the various Internet infrastructure, that is these are the various reference model TCP/IP, which is used under the Department of Defense in 1960s. In this we will discuss about the model in which it is a layered protocol, in which we are having the different type of protocols. So just we are having the different protocols, that is the mainly is TCP and IP. In this model, we are going to discuss about the various layers involved in the TCP/IP model, which are having the different protocols. In each and every layer, we are going to discuss the one by one. Internet infrastructure is overall transmission, information, how the information is transmitted in one place to the another. Because we are transferring any information on the online, we are transferring any information from one place to another. What are the phases involved? What are the layers involved in the particular transmission of the information? These are the Internet infrastructures. So first of all, just discussed one by one about all the layers, whatever involved in this model. First one is host to network layer. Host to network layer, in which whatever the physical involvement, whatever the physical information is involved under this, comes under this. Means what is there? First of all, we are having a particular network layer, in which we are physical transmission of the data, how that physical transmission of data is involved. For example, in network layer, we use cables, wired, the data is transferred from the cabled wire, or the wireless transmission is done. So how the transmission is done in the network layer? For example, someone is transmitting information from A to B, so it can be transferred through the cable thing or the uncabled thing. We are using various technologies nowadays, like the Bluetooth technologies. The different applications are coming for transmission of the data. So in that, we are involving the transmission from the physical transmission. Means how the physical transmission is done of the data which are involved in the host to network data. In host to network data, we are having the transmission. We can transmission the information through the wireless things also. Various applications like Gmail is there, Gmail application is there. We use the transmission from the connecting a cable. So these are the transmission of the data is involved in the physical transmission. So how we are transmitting the data from one place to the another, in this network layer is involved. Means how the protocol are involved. TCP and IP is the main protocol which are involved over here on the network layer. Okay, so here what the standard protocols are there, that is the TCP and IP, that is the Transmission Control Protocol and the IP protocol, Internet Protocol, in which the address is involved. Particular machines, particular system have their own addresses, on IP addresses. We have heard about the term IP addresses. That is the unique address on which how the amount is transmitted. Next layer is Internet layer. It defines all the protocols for the transmission of the data over the network. Means how the transmission is done, so in this layer, logical transmission, how the logical transmission of data is done over the network over the network. done over here. On the internet layer, we are having the different type of protocol, that is ICMP, IGMP, RARP and ARP. These things we will be discussing one by one in the detail. First, here you just have to knowledge that what are the different layers over here in the TCP/IP model. First one, in the downward, in the descending order, first comes as the network layer. Second one is the internet layer. Just discuss that what are the four layers. Next one is transport layer. Transport layer is responsible for the error-free data. Means whatever information we are transmitting, A to B, we are transmitting the data. So that should be error-free. Means no errors comes in between. For example, we are transmitting the data using some packets, because information is transferred into the dividation of the packets. Means whatever information, whatever the data we are transmitting, that is first divided into the different packets. So the delivery of the data should be error-free. Means the transmission from the end to end is there. That should be error-free. That should be correct. So transport layer make sure that the data should be transferred, should be correct. And in this we are having a two protocols, that is TCP protocol and the UDP. TCP is transmission control protocol, user is user datagram protocol. These protocols we were going to discuss one by one. What are the protocols? Just you have to get knowledge that what are the protocols involved in this particular layer. Next one is application layer. This is the topmost layer, which we got the output. Means whatever information we are transferring, it does not involve the whatever the data is done behind the things, whatever the concepts are applied on the behind that, it doesn't involve that. It just shows only the output. Whatever the output you are showing means what information you got, what information you have transferred. This involves only the application layer. It defines the interface host programs which involved in the transport layer services. It includes various protocols like the telnet, DNS, HTTP, FTP and SMTP. These are the various protocols which are involved in the application layer. So till now we have discussed that in TCP/IP protocol we are having a four layers: in network layer, internet layer, transport layer and the application layer. These are the various protocols these are the various layers which involve the various protocols. Just discuss one by one what are the different protocols involved there. We are told that the host to network is the lowest layer, which involve Ethernet, frame relay, token relay and the ATM. These are the Ethernet. Means from Ethernet we are discussing that in network layer we are using the physical transmission of the data. In that it can involve the routers, it can involve the various Ethernet, wired cables, data link layers. These are the various terminology which we have discussed in the network layer. Next one is internet layer. In this we are having a IP protocol, ICMP, RARP, RGMP and ARP. These are the various protocols which comes under the internet layer. It works from down to up. This is the lowest layer and this is the topmost layer, which involve the various protocols. Like in this telnet, DNS, HTTP, we have discussed SMTP, which involve the various application protocol. In transport layer, we are using the TCP and UDP. These are the various protocols comes under the transport layer. Just discuss one by one what are the application, what are the advantages of these layers and what are the process involved under these layers. First of all, application layer. Application layer, as we know that it is the topmost layer of the particular model. We have discussed in the OSI model that it's the combination of the session layer and the presentation layer. In OSI model, we are having a 7 layers. In OSI model, we are having a 7 layer. So, if I am comparing the TCP/IP model, what is there in TCP/IP model? I am having only 4 layers. So, in TCP/IP layer, they are the combination of some layers which is going to be combined. So, in OSI layer, we are having the 7 layers in which some of the layers are combined and got combined into the TCP/IP model. So, in TCP/IP model, we are having a 4 layer. So, application layer is the combination of session layer and the presentation layer. Means It involves the functionality of the session layer and the presentation layer of the OSI model. In TCP/IP model, application layer is a combination of session layer and the presentation layer. What the things are should be presented over there, what the output should be shown to the user, what is the final data you have to show the particular person, what the session involved in the particular thing, means what is the time duration to show the particular amount to the particular person. These are involved under your TCP/IP model. Okay, it provides the interfaces, whatever the interfaces, whatever we are seeing on the screen, whatever we are seeing on the particular monitor, this is the interfaces. Whatever the interfaces we are using different application, we are using different softwares. So these are the various output screen, these are the various interfaces which are provided by the application model under the TCP/IP model. Sorry, we can discuss about the functions of the application layer. What the application layer does? It uses the services over the network. What it does, it just use the various services, how the services are used. Okay, it developed the network based application, means whatever the application we are creating, it developed that network based application. It is used for that. Now it provides the various login, naming, devices formatting, what are the message, emails, what are the transfer of files. These involve the various application functions of the application layer. It also concerned with the error handling and the recovery of the message. Means overall what it provides the presentation things, it provides the interfaces in which we are having a user login, you are having the network devices, from which devices it got connected, it can formatted the different messages, what messages we have to involve in that particular transmission. It involves the transfer of the file one place to the another place. It shows the output of the file, what output is shown, what output is transferred over there. So these are involved under the application layer. It also handles the error handling, means whatever the output is there, it should be error free, means final data, final output is shown over the application layer. Next, these are having, as we know that the in each layer we are having a different protocols. It uses the different protocols. Application layer uses the HTTP protocol. You have heard the HTTP transfer protocol. You might have heard, whenever we search on the website, we have seen that the HTTPS, whatever the google.com, www.google.com. So in HTTP, what is there? Hypertext transfer protocol, which is used over the World Wide Web. Means whenever we are searching on the web, we are using a World Wide Web search. Means in that how the data is transmitted from one particular person to the another particular person. If client is requesting for particular data to the server, so in between the client is requesting for the data and server is again responding back for the particular data. So in this particular thing, the HTTP plays a vital role in which it uses the HTML formatted text, means what text you have to show, what documents you have to show, what videos you have to show. It should be formatted and transmitted using the hypertext transfer protocol. Means HTTP involves the World Wide Web search, in which the messages are how the messages are transmitted and how it is formatted. Formatted means final result, how the output should be shown. So it will be done by using the hypertext transfer protocol. Next one is file transfer protocol. Protocol is a set of rules, means we are having a specific rules to solve that particular transmission, to evolve that particular transmission to be done. So these are the various rules which are involved under the transmission of the data. So again, just discuss about the file transfer protocol. Hope you have file transfer protocol means it involves the client and server based protocol, means how the file is transferred from one client to the another, client, or we can say that the client, how the transmission is done between the client to the server. Means whatever the information is transferred from one client to the server, first the information will be transferred, client is requesting the particular information and the server will be responding back to the particular network, in the particular network. So it involves various file, various documentation, various folders, how the information is transferred through a particular file. This involved using a FTP protocol. very important, very useful in nowadays, that is SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Simple Mail Transfer Protocol helps in sending and receiving the mails. We always use the mails communication. We just transfer one mail to the another. So what the protocol is, which protocol is behind that? That is the SMTP, in which it helps us, it provides us the various rules and the various semantics of the particular messages, means how we are sending the message, how the data is receiving from the emails, means whatever information we are transmitting over the emails, the SMTP is playing a vital role in particular transmission of data over the email. So these are the various these are the various protocols involved over the application layer. Just discuss about the next layer. These are the various protocols which are also involved under your application layer, that we have heard about the domain name system. Each and every device have the particular domain name system which is used for the particular IP address. Next is Telnet. It provides the bidirectional text oriented services for the login over the host over the network. Means what it provides, it is using a bidirectional text oriented services which is used for the host over the network. So it is the particular thing which are used under the application layer. Next is SNMP, that is Simple Network Management Protocol. Means overall management, overall monitoring of the network is done by this protocol. Means what we doing, means over the network we are transmitting the information over a network. Okay, so how to manage that, how to monitor that particular network, to organize that information over the network, it is playing a vital role in SMMP. Just see, these are the various protocols. We have covered these application layer which are having, in which we have covered these are the protocols. Now just let's discuss about the transport layer and what are the protocols involved over there. We will discuss about that. Now host to network layer. We have discussed about the topmost layer, application layer. Now just discuss about the lowest layer. What was that? That is host to network layer. It is concerned with the physical transmission, means what data is transmission, how the physical transmission is done of the data. Okay, so it involves the interface, it is involved the interface layer or the link layer. As we have discussed that the OSI model have the 7 layers. So it is the combination of the link layer and the interface layer. In OSI model, what is there? We are having a physical layer, then the data link layer. So it is the combination of that particular layer. Okay, so it is the combination of that particular layer. Now just discuss what are the process of their physical layer, in which the data is, how the physical hardware is involved, how the data is transmitted, and in the data link layer, the data is transmitted from the cabled wire or wired or wireless communication is there. So these will be involved in your TCP IP model. In TCP IP model, you are having only a physical layer, and in OSI model, you are having a combination of 2 layers, that is the physical layer and the data link layer. Now various function of the network layer, that is, it defines how the bits are encoded, how the electrical pulses are involved, means it involves the physical transmission, means your data is transmitted into the particular pulses, particular packets, how the packets are involved in the network layer. It encapsulates into the frames. The data is encapsulated in firstly into the IP packets, then it encapsulates into the frames. So how the transmission got into the frames, in the bits, how the data is transmitted between the sender to the receiver, how the data is transmitted, it involves all this process of that particular frames. Sorry. It involves the network layer, which encapsulate the data into the frames. Then the frames are involved into the bits, how the bits are making up. So this transmission is done between the sender and the receiver. So sender and the receiver, first the data is converted into the IP packets, then the IP packets are converted into frames, and the frames are converted into bits, because we are transmitting the data into the bits. So these are the transmission mode where transmission mode are involved over the network layer. That is the simplex, half duplex and the full duplex. These are the various modes in which we can transfer the information. These are the various modes of the transmission. We are having a different topologies of the network. We are having a various networks like bus, star, ring. Means what we are doing, we are transmitting the information into a particular nodes, like in which we are having a particular various nodes in which the data is transmitting. It is the form in the form of a star, so it can be called as a star, ring. It can be the various topology network, means how the network is considered. So this is the topology of the network, the how the data is transmitted between one place to the another. These are the various protocols which involved in this layer, that is Ethernet, frame relay, token ring and ATM. Just discussed. This is the host network. In this, there are various protocols involved in the host to network layer. Means host is the final person who is sending the particular data. Host to host connection we said, host to host transmission we can say that. So this is the application layer where we got the final result, and from the starting how the transmission, physical transmission is done. Just discussed about the transport layer. What is the transport layer? Transport layer is responsible for the data which should be transmitted should be error free. Means no error should be there. No end-to-end delivery should be, how the end-to-end delivery should be maintained, host to destination host. The data should be correct. It is responsibility of the transport layer. These are the various functions involved under the transport layer. Transport layer communicate from one host to the destination host. So what it does, it provides the interface involved under the underlying network. What are the users are involved over there in that particular network? Is there a reliable connection between that particular persons or not? Is if someone is transferring the amount from A to B and C, then there is a reliable connectivity is there or not. To check that particular connectivity and to check that error-free data, that the data whatever we have sent, it's the correct data, the flow of control and the verification, these all are involved under the transport layer. Means its advantages is that we can check that the data should be correct or it should be consistent. It checks the consistency of the particular data. Next is check the flow control, means how the data is transmitting. It checks this is the overall function of the transport layer. Means if that amount if the data is transmitted from A to B, then B to C, then C to A, means how the flow is going, how the data is transmitting, it overall maintain the flow control. Through the routers it can be controlled that how the route, because routers are placed in between, so through that it can control the particular transmission of data. It can verify the particular thing, how the data is transmitted from one place to the another. So these are the protocols which involved under the TCP and IP model. It also helps that what are the incoming byte stream is coming. It is converted into the different segments. What is the sequence of that particular segments? Means whatever the data is coming, it is divided into the various segments, and the one by one the transmission is done. Means whatever the information we are transmitting into the different segments. So these segments acknowledgement is done to the sender also and the receiver side also. So TCP manage the flow control of so that the speed of the data should be maintained, how the data is transmitted from one place to the another. Now next is the user datagram protocol, which comes under your transport protocol, which is helping that the messages are provided, whatever the information are provided, are they reliable or not. It checks the connectivity between the one transmission to the another, that the connection between the particular users are reliable or not. It checks the particular connection and acknowledge the services. So this is it is used for the acknowledgement of the particular services about the connection and the reliability is maintained or not. Next is, it is following the sequencing, whatever the data you are transmitting, it is transmitted into the packets. Then the sequencing of the data should be maintained, the flow of control should be maintained, should follow under how the data is transmitted, the order of the data is maintained or not. So it is maintained under the UDP protocol, how the speed of the data is transmitting. So all these things are maintained under the UDP protocols. Means whatever the data you are transmitting, it is in order or not, it is the flow of control should be there or not, the accuracy of the delivery is there or not, speed of the delivery is there or not, it is maintained by the UDP protocol. These are the important features which are involved, that the speed of the delivery, accuracy means like the correctness of the data is there, the order is followed in the particular order or not, the transmission of the data is in the order or not, it is also important factor under the UDP. Next is stream control transmission protocol, which also involved in the network protocol only. It combines both the features of the TCP and the UDP. Means it is the message oriented like the UDP only. Means it also involved on the over the internet, how the information is transmission, the stream of the data should be maintained. Means the sequencing is involved over here. So here it is the combination of the TCP and the UDP. As we know that the UDP is the combination of both the connection oriented or not. So these are maintained under this also. Till that, thank you.